Well, I do love me some bandsaws. As you can see, I've got two of them, one for resawing and one for cutting curves. Now, you don't need two saws in your shop, one will do just fine, but if you have the room and the budget, two of them prevents you from having to change blades all the time, which is really nice. Now, you might recall, Alex Snodgrass was in the shop recently, and he brought with him some guide replacement kits for both my PM1500 and the 14-inch saw. So I let him install them for me, because who wouldn't? He does a great job on them. But Alex gives us an idea why Carter guides are better. I mean, most bandsaws come with adequate guides right out of the factory, but what could we add to the bandsaw that actually makes it cut better and more reliably? Alex will tell us.
Carter guides go with a 30,000 RPM double sealed bearing. So they're one of the only guides that you can actually pop the seals out and clean them and repack them. So they're a great bearing to start with, a higher RPM than a 5,000 RPM bearing, which most bearings or saws are going to come with. We also use a barrel adjustment, not a cam adjustment. Now, a barrel adjustment basically is you tighten it. Number one, it won't move side to side when you tighten it like a cam will. And once you lock it, it's almost impossible to move it. Whereas with a cam, pretty much anything that hits it, knocks it, moves it, anything that gets onto the blade will cause it to actually collapse into the blade or away from the blade, depending on how you set it, over the top or over the bottom. They're also a much smaller guide system, so they're not quite so intrusive as this, so that when you're hitting, working with logs or anything large that would possibly come up here, you won't hit the knobs, which can cause the guides to loosen.
We'll start by removing the blade and both of the guides. Install the guide mount and leave the screws just a little bit loose for later adjustment. Now slide the post assembly into the guide mount and once again keep it loose. The bottom guide is easier to work on if you remove the table, but on the PM1500 it's really not worth the effort. So slide the new post into place and then slide the new guides into place. We're installing a 1/2 inch 3-tooth per inch blade, which will be ideal for resawing. Tension the blade and make sure it's aligned so that the gullet is in the center of the wheel. Now we can position the guides. Begin snugging up the screws as you line the bearings up nice and square to the blade. Also make sure that the side bearings are just behind the gullet of the blade. Now it's simply a matter of adjusting the thrust bearings and the side bearings. We covered this process in detail in our recent Bandsaw Setup video. Let's do a test cut. That looks pretty much perfect. Now let's quickly look at the installation on a 14-inch saw, including the installation of this slick stabilizer add-on. We'll repeat the installation process, only this time we can easily remove the table. Of course, I have to do a little courtesy cleaning for Alex. Slide the guard holder on first, followed by the cup assembly. Slide the guide into place, and once again, keep everything loose. Install your blade of choice, and line up the guides. Once everything is positioned properly, lock it all down. Now slide the guard piece down on top of the cup assembly, and attach the guard. With the blade removed, reinstall the table and then reinstall the blade. And time for a quick test cut. That's not bad for a 14-inch saw. Now there's an additional add-on that we could play with called a blade stabilizer. This is good for making tight curve cuts with blades that are 1/4 inch or less in width. Slide the top guide out and push the bottom guide back so that it's out of the way. The first time you use the stabilizer, you need to line it up with the groove in the bearing. Push the guide into the blade and rotate the wheel a few times. The bearing will automatically center itself, and then you can tighten the post in place. Now bring the whole stabilizer forward to spring load the blade by about 1/8 of an inch. Because we just pushed the blade forward, it's going to walk forward slightly on the wheels, so adjust the blade tracking so that the blade is once again positioned with the gullet in the center of the wheel. The blade is now spring-loaded, which makes it more rigid and prevents the blade from popping off the guide if we need to pull back on the workpiece while cutting. Now let's watch Alex work some magic here as he cuts a reindeer in under a minute. Do not try this at home, kids. So special thanks to Alex Snodgrass and Carter Products for helping us out with this video and helping my saws cut even better. You can check out Carter Products at carterproducts.com. They've got a bunch of different things that you can put on your bandsaws, ways to upgrade them and just get better results. They also have a whole bunch of other products like these sweet magnetic fences and a bunch of things. Go check it out, carterproducts.com. Thanks for watching, everyone.